Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, August 8th, 2018. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Great to be back. Looking at the ES here, you see that price is sitting here at the highs so far, not of the year, but getting close. It's the highest levels we've been since the major sell-off that occurred earlier in the year, and overall price is still holding above the previous month's high here. We got a nice little pullback into the last week's pivot range, a nice little bounce off that zone and a continuation. Again, keeping an eye on the previous month's high here. Any failure there could open up a rotation back to 2790. But 2790 to 2791, that FOMC key level continues to be well bid. So overall, this thing continues trending up until proven otherwise at this point. If we take a look at the NQ, you'll notice here this one also at the highest levels has been in a while here. Did not quite reach the previous month's high just yet, but the pullback to the pivot range and the previous month's close, all that been bid so far to start the month. Up here, any rejection of that zone could open up a return back down to retest those lows. So again, may see a little bit more strength, but if there's any failure to find acceptance above 7,500, there could be a counter rotation here at some point. Nothing really solid in those two right now, but crude oil looks like it could be on the verge of a nice move here, both down and perhaps even up. Right now we have a downtrending market in crude. Very, very bearish. It's taken VWAP offered earlier this morning and has been trending down ever since. You can see right here we have just now pushed below the previous month's close after bouncing off the pivot range. This looks like an aggressive trend day down. The last time we saw something aggressive like this, there was a midday reversal that led to a huge rally. That was on this session here, where prices were down big. It looked like we might be headed lower, and then that failed new low led to a major pop. So something like that could happen here later today. I'll be looking for signs around 6750s, 6740s. That's where the FOMC key levels are. So we could continue trending downward in this manner, which is quite aggressive even as we speak. But at some point here, if we start to find strong support or some sort of rejection off the lows, that could be an early indication of what could become a major breakout to the upside and perhaps a rally back toward 75 highs. Alright, let's take a look now at gold futures. Here's a look at gold. It still really hasn't broken down just yet, but it looks like it is on the verge, and I've been saying that for a while. But this one here actually had the key range that we put out there ahead of the FOMC. FOMC came out, and now was a break below this wick day, and since then it's been lower, with bears defending almost systematically lower highs each and every way. We have lows all around the same level. Typically speaking, that would open up one big flush one way or another. A push above 1225 could open up a flush back toward 1240, but right now this market has been very heavy. There's been no want to in terms of wanting to go up. So the idea is you likely see the stops get run below recent lows. That could open up a push back toward 1200, and again 1200 is that major support level we've been watching for. That's the major level that if tested or if price gets below it could finally give us the rejection we've been looking for. So still being patient with gold. One last look here, and this is with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's had quite the reversal. Remember, when we had this playing out over here as it was developing, we talked that if price could push through 6,700, 7K, it could open up a move to 8,500, but I really wouldn't push it much beyond that. You know, sometimes a market kind of gives you the key levels to use, and just use them and don't get too greedy, right? I mentioned on this pullback there could be an opportunity to get a little bit more, but for the most part, upon hitting 8,500, you can see why we chose that level. Such a strong level, and now we've seen a rejection all the way back to where the breakout originated. And so again, we're going to see here if bulls can come in off the zone. As I've mentioned before, every price below 6K has been the low so far, as this thing has bounced much higher. So if bulls cannot keep 6K bid or prices just below it, this thing could have much more weakness ahead. But for right now, 6K continues to be a major level, and pullbacks into and around that zone have been defended so far. So we'll see how this continues to play out. But right now, very bearish trend in Bitcoin, and not likely to give up anytime soon until we find some sort of rejection down here. So still bearish in the near term. We'll see how the long-term support fares this time around. All right, everyone, that's it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.